if you're friends with your spouse, you would love to be with your spouse.
Oh, yeah. Don't let it be too late before you see God's face. I don't want you to learn in a hard way.
God is not an author of confusion. Baba does not confuse his children. He does not at all. Okay.
Like, just realizing that forgiveness is also deliberate and it's honest. You can sometimes when you say, oh, I need to forgive this person, you didn't necessarily get an apology. You didn't necessarily get an acknowledgement that this person is saying, oh, I'm sorry for this thing that I did to you. So it's like you have to address that. You have to address what it is that is actually upsetting you.
Hello, everyone. Good evening, good day, good afternoon, or good morning to you, wherever you're watching this. Welcome to another episode on Abischat. And the lovely person talking today is Yanenu Uwa Akiyevi Oyelavi. That's my name. Sorry, my name is Yanolua, just to say that again. And to my right, this wonderful dark chocolate man, my husband, and I'll allow him introduce himself.
Oh, so good day, wherever you're watching us from. Thank you, my wife, for that wonderful sumptuous introduction. My name is Abiodun Oyelami. Just Abiodun is fine. Good to be here again, and thank you for the invitation. It's an honor to be here on the program.
I thought that you invited me. I thought you invited me.
Oh, go ahead. Just joking. It's good to be here.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
Yeah.
So, people, we have a wonderful thing, something very nice that we'll be talking about today, which is something I guess was close to my heart, and I know it's one of those things everybody, I think most people usually pass through, and before you get to your final bus stop, I won't say final bus stop, but before you marry, which is something that we'll be talking about today, is singleness. So this session will be to whether you are single, you're thriving, or you're single, you're frustrated, or you're single, and you have different questions, or just wondering, okay, how can I maximize this my singleness period, or how to enjoy this, how to get the best of your single time before moving into courtship or dating and finally being married. So
Absolutely.
we are going to just be talking about that. And this is for everybody that, also just so that you can also reflect. If you're married, also this can also be for you just to reflect about, or if in your singleness or you're in a single period, you actually maximize your time properly. One thing everybody thinks singleness is like a period of you waiting, like it's like a waiting period. But what if singleness is like the most important foundation for every other thing? Because if your singleness is not in your single period, if you do not maximize it properly and you don't lay a good foundation, then your dating or your courtship or your marriage might be shaky. Singleness is not you being lonely. You're not lonely. You can be single and be thriving. You can be single. You're single is like you're just alone. You're not lonely. If you trust me, if you first of all put yourself let's say first of all discover who you are. First of all, find God. When you find God, you find your
You found
purpose,
everything there.
or you find everything
Yeah.
God has called you forth, and from there, surrounding yourself with good people,
yeah.
or good community.
Yeah.
Trust me, you will thrive in it, because singleness is a journey.
It is.
It is a journey.
It is.
And in singleness, it's like, it has different layers, different layers,
True.
and you have different seasons also
True.
in your singleness.
Yeah.
But you know that at times that in the singleness, that days that, it might be, you need this, you need that.
Yeah. It will come.
It will come. Or it might be easy this time. It might be hard this time. But if you embrace the old definition of being single,
you're gonna enjoy
you would enjoy it. And
Absolutely.
also if you now put God in the midst, or have God, have a good intimate relationship with God, in that your singleness, in your single period, it's gonna be a blast.
So if you're watching this and you're not enjoying your singleness or your singlehood, singleness, because you are in a rush to be in a relationship, or you're not in the moment of being in your singleness, you're missing out a lot, and you're shortchanging yourself. You know why? Because there's a season for singleness. There's a season for it. We have been there, we're out of there. Once you leave the singleness phase, it doesn't come back again in a long time. In a long time. So make the best of it. If you don't, or if you are not, then you're missing. You're shortchanging yourself. And the second thing I wanted to say, I know you want to say something. Second thing I wanted to say, to my point, is the fact that, don't be in a rush to be in a relationship because you're seeking validation from someone else. Your validation is from God. What God has said about you is enough. If you follow God truly, you will truly end up in a good relationship. You will end up in a great relationship.
So, which is one of the questions that I do like. So, so talking about mindset is, since everybody has this mindset, I want to be in a relationship. I want to be in a relationship, or I'm waiting for the man, or like I'm waiting for my spouse, I'm waiting for the one. So how can we change that mindset into, I want to thrive in the singleness? How can we change that mindset of being anxious? Even God does already told us not to be anxious for the future, instead of embracing the present, the now.
Let me put it this way. I'll use my own experience and also use the wisdom of God to answer this question. Is the fact that, number one, don't be in a hurry.
Okay.
Relax. Calm. Stay calm.
Don't tell you people. Be calm.
Don't rush.
Do not rush.
Don't rush.
Nowhere. Don't rush.
I'm trying to see if, to get statistics of those that were in a relationship in their singleness that turned into full marriage.
I don't know.
Yeah, I wish I could see it. The reason why I'm saying that, I stand corrected. But most people that just fall into, it's not all relationships that happen in the singleness stage, or your single, or let me put it this way. It's not all relationship that happens in our singleness phase that will translate into marriage. I wish there's statistics to back that up. So what we're saying is this. One thing like I said before, is the fact that the first mindset you need to have is that God has you covered.
But before God has you covered, first of all, have you given your life to Christ?
That's true. You need to give your
life to Christ.
If you have not, just say this prayer for us. Sorry, it's too early though. But say, Father, close your eyes, say, Father, I surrender my life to you. Be the Lord and the Savior of my life. Be my Lord and personal Savior. Thank you for saving me. In Jesus' mighty name, with thanksgiving. Amen. Thank you for just saying that prayer. You can, find a church near you and start to fellowship, get a Bible and start to read. And also, if you want to reach out to us, just send us an email at abischatscoupleseries@gmail.com. abischatscoupleseries@gmail.com. So back to what we're saying. So mindset is very powerful. You see, the yearning to want to be in a relationship is not bad, like we said. But one thing, if now my own example is the fact that if I knew earlier, I wouldn't have spent my time trying to enter a relationship, because looking back now, I knew God had someone for me. And the reason why I knew that was because God waited till I had wasted all my energy before he now brought the person. Every attempt to get someone to be in a relationship, it was just not working. God now waited till I, just like the Bible said, Adam went to sleep. Just like the season when I finally let go and went to sleep, that was when God brought my wife. And I must tell you, she has been the best blessing God has ever given to me. So the mindset is the fact that one is stay calm. Know that God has you covered. And there's someone for you. So it's just like this. Don't be like the children of Israelites. Journey of 40 years, 40 days took them 40 years because of disobedience. So, and also follow God. Follow his leading. What is God telling you? If we truly follow God, a lot of us will not make the mistake that we are making right now, or the mistake that we'll fall into making later. So back to your question is mindset. Anxiety will come. The desire to want to be in a relationship will come. But ask the Holy Spirit to guide you. Get yourself busy with something, with your purpose. If you are busy, truly, you will not be carried away by the wave of relationship, idleness. You're busy, your mind is occupied. Yeah, I hope I answered your question.
Yes, you sort of did, but I was going to use the Bible to when you says no rush, do not be anxious.
rush, yeah.
I was gonna use the Bible to back it up and use like the Philippians 4:6 that says,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna use the TPT. It says, do not be pulled in different directions
Yeah.
or worried about a thing.
Absolutely.
Be saturated in prayer throughout each day, offering faith-filled requests before God with overflowing gratitude. But which is true.
Yeah.
Instead of worrying yourself, you've already said it. We said it earlier. Use this time to what? Grow, to build.
Yeah.
Because a seed planted today is better than a seed planted tomorrow. Because if you plant the seed today and you water it, it will grow into a tree that would bear fruit.
Absolutely.
Another thing which I think we've already said, is this is the time to discover your purpose.
True.
To discover who you are. If to find yourself. Because if you do not find yourself, like I put here, this thing I write here, something about just a thing that I've heard is that this is statistically, I think I might not be right, but just please bear with me, that sometimes if first of all, your identity. If you discover your purpose, you find your identity. If you find your identity, you'll find your assignment. If you find your assignment will be, okay, what ministry are you called to? Everybody's called to ministry. Everybody, both woman and man, we are all called to ministry. It's not like you're called to pastor, but you're called to ministry. There's different type of ministries that that we've been called to. But if when they say not even men, women, we tend to marry wrong when we do not know our identity. when we do not know who we are, whose we are, where we are from. I'll put that way. I forgot the last part. But yeah, so because if you discover everything that God has called you for, 100%, you will not marry wrong. And also, this other time, so after you discovering yourself in God, discovering your potentials, and nesting all the things that the Lord has placed inside of you, also you to use that opportunity to build a relationship, an intimate relationship with God. Because if you know God for yourself, then you'll be able to hold God's promise for yourself. And also because of that, at the instead of you waiting, instead of you being anxious, why not take that time to develop yourself? Okay, is it like, okay, look into your life, you've been getting close to God. When you get close to God, everything about you, God starts to prune everything about you. The things that you heard, or the things of the past. Let's say you used to get angry before, you might not be getting angry again. Then at this time, this is when you now come and you now take you bring out all the toolbox, and you now start. Is it hammering things inside, unscrewing things, or is it nailing things? Is it turning things? This is when you start developing yourself. You bring out all your toolbox. So you, first of all, I was even telling my husband today, I was like, one part wish I feel like I developed myself, but I developed myself at the later part of my single period for this part. But I wish I have started way earlier. If you develop yourself emotionally, that means that you are emotionally intelligent. That is good. This is a good quality, which is something you need futuristically in your marriage.
You do.
Good. If you develop yourself mentally, oh my God, intellectually, you're developed. So physically, you can develop yourself. Also, our body is the temple of the Lord, so it has to be kept healthy. And also, develop yourself financially.
Absolutely.
It's not like every other aspect of your life. It's not one part of it. You are developed holistically. Because I know in marriage, it's not one half and one half becomes one. It's two whole people. Whole people that have actually, actually gone through the process of singleness that becomes one.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Preach. I'm proud of it.
My head is swelling.
So
so that is that. So that is one thing of you how to thrive in that. Because there's this notion that they've always said. I was telling him, we will come like, the level of the time, not even level of time you will have when you're single, the level of freedom, the level of liberty that you have when you are single is different from when you are now married. And when you've crossed over the courtship into marriage, it is totally different. You don't have, let me tell you, you don't have your bed to yourself. You have somebody next to you. Let's say now you have kids. That's extra people again that will be pulling you left and right. Mommy this, mommy want this. Okay. Oh, darling. Okay, I want what's going on there. Different directions. And if your foundation is not faulty, you might lose your identity and now become a wife. Now become a wife, and that become a mom. But whereby you are more than that. First of all, if you know who you are, if you know, okay, I am Yano, but you would know who you are. Even when you get married and you're still embodying wife, the role of a wife. You still find your singleness. You still have that singleness. You still thrive in your singleness. Yeah. He said a lot.
Wow. That was a sermon right there. I'm proud of you, baby.
I'm proud of myself too.
That was good. Wow. One thing I would just add to that before we go to the next discussion is the fact that um I forgot my point now. I was listening to
Holy
you.
Spirit will help you.
Yes, you're speaking so good that I forgot my point. It is a fact that, like we said before, don't rush. See, whether you use your singleness to develop yourself, whether you don't develop yourself, you will. But it's a seed. It's a season that you're meant to plant a seed. And if, as a farmer, if you don't plant a seed, you cannot germinate anything. Some of us, some people in their single phase. If you're in single right now, you're watching us. Please, the the time you have now, you will not have it. The freedom, the time that you have right now, you will not have it as much again when you become married. Things will change. Life would happen in a good way. Marriage is, and please, let's say this: marriage is wonderful, but don't rush. What babe? I'm discovering. I've discovered something of late. No, not of late, but I've been discovering something. At the end, if you desire to marry, you will get married.
Trying to get married.
If you desire to get married, you will get married. It might not be at the same time with other people, but your own time will surely come. I'll give you just one example. I have a group of 4 friends. I told you about them. One got married first. The second got married. It made two of us. The remaining two of us, for a while, I felt like, what's going on? It's nothing. What's happening? What's going on? To the glory of God, today, all the four of us, we are married. What am I trying to say is this? Is that marriage will come to you as well too when the time is right, and as long as you desire it. So don't be in a hurry to marry. That's one thing too. Most times people are in a hurry to see the marriage side you're rushing to has work. You put marriage is work, good work. It's not that you wake up in the morning, just like you were telling me earlier today that in your single days, you as a lady, you can just be in your house if you like. Though you might not cook anything, you might eat bread. If it's bread you see, you eat. If it's whatever it is, if it's snack you eat. Once you get married, it becomes different. Same thing as a man. If you're in your house, you are playing game, you are at home playing game, you are not worried about anything, you are just there, you don't have any person to worry about. Once you're married, you have a woman to take care of. That is responsibility. It's work, but a good work. So please, don't be in a hurry. The other side has work. Prepare for that work.
And another big question that I think single people
Yep.
or people in general, and I think I know. Because one time I actually asked this question when I was like before I met you, and I asked this question. I was like, why am I staying single while others are getting married? Not that I'm just gonna say this like it, it's okay. And I was like, oh, sometimes it's all about the preparation.
Yep.
If you have not finished preparing, God will not give you the. God will not want to place you into that and be like, okay, you go there and it crumbles.
Sure.
Because it's just like even at work. If or in life general, if you prepare for something and you're not fully prepared for it, if for promotion stuff, you have to show that you're prepared for them to be able to promote you to the next level. Because if you do not show that full preparation, then you would just be where you are. And also in that preparation, which I've already said, God always prompts. God is working in our hearts before bringing the right person into our lives. And sometimes God is actually also protecting us from relationships that isn't good for us. That is, that is in our single seasons. Because if you embrace it, that is what God is doing. And it says in In Proverbs 3, it says, it reminds us to always what? Trust God.
With all our heart.
With all our heart.
Honest.
Because if you trust God and you trust that God has, he says in his word that he has, before he formed us, he only had what?
Good plans, yeah.
Good plans for us. If you have that, then definitely, and you embrace your singleness, God would definitely, God is a merciful God, and God cannot lie.
He's merciful.
He won't want his daughter or his son to suffer.
Definitely.
So yeah, just wanted to just put that out there that if you're thinking, why am I so single? While others are married, while others are dating, while others are courting. This is why God is preparing you for your next level. All you have to do is what? Patiently wait, endure, and persevere. Look unto Him, the author and the finisher of our faith.
Absolutely.
And don't worry, everything at the due season will work together for your good. So we are entering into the juicy part.
Absolutely.
The juicy part. You want to talk about?
Just to add to what you said, key point is the fact that like we said before, there's time for everything.
Yeah, so
there's a time that God has allotted that you're going to get married. And it's better to marry late and marry well than to marry early and marry wrong. I'll repeat again. It is better to marry late and marry well than to marry early and marry wrong.
Yep.
And so, like we said before, don't be in a hurry. And also, you mentioned the fact that sometimes God might be working on you, but God can also be working on the person you want to go marry to. So God is working on both ends. Bible says God works in us for His good pleasure, for His good will. So while God is working on you, God is working on the person you want to marry, because God has to work on both of you for you to have a great marriage. It just has to. If not, the fact that we are imperfect already put us as a loss. We are imperfect, but we are working towards perfection. You understand? They say we should be perfect, just like every father is perfect. In us, our spirit is we're spiritually, in the eyes of God, we are the righteousness of God in Christ Jesus. But physically, we all have flaws. So be patient. As God is working in you, God is also working on the other person. In the moment, just keep working on yourself. Keep praying and keep developing yourself. So that when finally you get married, you have all it takes to, because we're not going into this today, but there's a difference between being single. The strength you need as a single person, you need much more strength as a married person. So prepare.
Okay, so thank you, sir, for the word of wisdom. Right? Now, the juicy part is how can someone enjoy singleness? It's good. Let us talk about it, because one thing that I think we've been talking about from the beginning is that I know not from the beginning, we talked about sometimes people mistake loneliness as for being single. And loneliness is one of the biggest struggles that we go through for single people. And also, just out there, I just want to say loneliness is not just about relationship status.
No.
Loneliness is not about that. It's about purpose. There's someone I was listening to, the person mentioned purpose over pleasure. It's about purpose. Purpose over pleasure. And so even in relationship, let me bust our bubbles. Even in relationship, people feel lonely. Even in marriage, people feel lonely.
Yep.
So
Yep.
if you are thinking that
Marriage will make you come.
marriage will cure that while you're being single,
Nah, it doesn't.
think twice, my sister. Think twice, my
Yeah. It doesn't
brother.
always. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So how can someone mention two, and I'll mention two more.
Two. First of all, I'll say the one I'll put it in like an overarching is one is to find God, be closer to God. Find God, be closer to God, and use that season to serve God.
I don't
Stay
know.
alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So serve God because that your singleness, you have time. You have time. You can be outside till midnight. You can be outside till late night serving God. You can be, how will I put it? They can call you anytime and you don't have any family responsibility. You can jump up and move because you have that time. So use your singleness to find God, be closer to God, and serve God diligently with everything, with all your might, all your strength, all your wisdom, all your capacity, all your ability. Invest in that time with God. Do you know is that is during single times? Some people who had enough time to pray, to fast, to read books. Use that time to build. So that's one. Two, I would say I have a lot of points here. I know you said something about purpose, so I won't really dwell more about that.
Okay.
I also said build yourself holistically. One thing I'll just say is, like I say, one point that I'll put two in there is the fact that you build yourself for the future that you are anticipating.
You want a good future? Build yourself.
Yeah.
You want a yama future? Don't do anything. Let's cut that part out.
The reason why I said that is the fact that some people, you ask them what is the list of the person they want to marry, it must be God. Yeah, that's the physical attribute. But truly marriage,
so leg back. But yeah,
it's great, but no, that's not what you're eating every time. So you also need to be realistic.
Is that not what we've been watching in this pop, the balloon that all the ladies that always say, I want a caring, loving, rich.
Yeah. So you won't be eating 6 packs. So be realistic with yourself. Does the person know God? But most importantly, do you know God? You are looking for a man or a woman that can pray. Do you know how to pray? A man or a woman that loves the Lord. Do you love God? A man or woman that is caring. Are you caring? A man or woman that is loving. Are you loving? So build yourself holistically and surround yourself with good and godly community.
Hallelujah.
Godly friends, godly family, godly mentors, godly partners. When I mean partners, people that you are your friends that you're working with. Just surround yourself with good people in that season.
You've already said all my points, but the only thing I will say I will just use a scripture to buttress or to back up everything that you've said, which is like Psalms 34 verse 4 that says, delight yourself in the Lord.
Yes.
And it will give you waiting. It will give you the desires of your heart.
Yep.
Trust me. If you delight yourself in the Lord, every other, you also say seek first the kingdom of God, and every other thing else will be added onto you.
Yep.
So yeah, that's all. You said that serve God, and that's all I can say. Full stop. That's all. So
find your purpose. Find the reason why you're in existence.
If you find God, you find your purpose. Is it possible for you to find God and not find purpose?
Yeah, you find God, discover the reason. When you find God, that's one part. Then the part is asking God, why is this send you to the world? Then when he now tells you, then you now intentionally pursue that purpose.
Okay, good. Another thing I would also add is I would say practical steps of of thriving and every other thing, and also overcoming loneliness would be staying grateful. If you're grateful to God, gratitude is also it goes a long way, because if you focus on what God is doing right now, you won't be anxious and you won't be complaining about the future. Those kind of things. If you are humble, because I see that I actually see that trait in you a lot, whereby you're always grateful. But I thank you. But I thank you for the wife that you've given me. Even though your wife can be but still you're still thankful. You're still grateful. So it's like if you're grateful to God for that season you are, you would really you appreciate it, and you won't be in a hurry to leave it so soon. That's just another extra thing that you can practical steps that of you enjoying it.
Absolutely. Please enjoy it, maximize it. Once you lose it, once it goes, it doesn't come easily again. And the interesting part is a lot of single people, they are rushing into marriage, whereby a lot of my people are wishing they can leave their marriage. We don't want that for you.
We don't.
We want you to have a good, successful marriage that would thrive and that will be successful. So just put in the work. Marriage, I always told my wife, marriage is easy, but the work to make it easy, it was difficult. And that work starts from your single days, your singleness phase. So explore it and enjoy it.
Yeah. Any other thing? Any question you want to ask me? Ask us or want us to talk about?
I think it's just probably some of the lessons we learned, being single days, and so that we will never know who is out there that some of those lessons is going to bless. We have been through the single phase and we're out of there. We're now married to the glory of God. But so, what are some lessons that you learned, that I learned?
Okay. I think we've already talked about it, but one thing I would say is like singleness is not all about finding love, but it's more about relying and trusting in God. That it will lead you in every season of your life, in every step that you take. That your steps are ordered. Lessons that I learned is loneliness. Loneliness not the kill.
No.
It cannot kill.
No.
It doesn't kill.
Oh no.
It does not. And also, it made me value staying committed. Because I found God bless my friend that introduced me to the community that I am in right now. God bless her, wherever she is. In that community
it's a
like
good community, a godly community.
In that community I joined. I think I joined on my birthday, and it was like, okay, fine, let's do this, let's do that. That they pushed me beyond my limit and beyond my normal self. I know God though, but I knew God more. Then the things that I would want to do in a normal like what I know how everybody had like it's resolutions and stuff that was like I want to be closer to God, and I never did. Oh my God, I joined them and it was like a blast, and still being a blast. The intensity, love it. It's what has been pushing me, and also being surrounded by like-minded people that when in the community it's not like, okay, you don't want you to grow spiritually. We talk about money, we talk about marriage, we talk about relationship, about spiritual life. So it's like, okay, you cannot just be fumbling in one place. You can't can't know who you are and somebody else will be making you feel less of yourself. Nope, nobody can be. I said, I was telling my husband today, I was saying that my best friend said something about me. It's true. That was not from the group pop. That was from how I grew up. What my parents instilled in me, anyways. But yeah, that actually made me, because when I joined that group and I look back in my life, I'm like, I've dated rubbish. I've allowed rubbish into me. Not like I've done stupid things that I shouldn't have done. Because if I know what I knew at that time, I would have done life differently
better
than how I did it then. So it's just those. I think those are the things. And for my singleness, lessons learned is there's no wasted time. There is no wasted time. Every time, every season, it's like, you know how people like, okay, if I can go back. There's this time in my community they asked us a question: if God can give you a chance to go back, and that the fact that you've known everything that you've known right now, would you go back and what about your life? And one sister said no. Said she will not change, because she said something. She said God took her through that journey to be who she is right now
today.
And that she is grateful for that, because if she goes back and change one thing, what if her life does not turn out the way she thinks it will turn out? So why not just her just embracing the time that she did not lose any time, but she maximized it, even though she made some mistakes and
we all do.
She made some wrong turns.
We all do.
Those wrong turns became something that that made her stronger. And made her grow. So yeah, there is no wasted time.
No.
And and also everything happens at the due season.
Absolutely.
It says in His word that we are like a tree planted by the waterside that brings out its fruit in waiting, in its season. In your season, that definitely God will make it work out for you.
Absolutely.
That is that. So there is no that's that. So which means no rush.
No rush.
There is no rush.
No
rush.
No rush.
I didn't have a rush. I didn't actually feel rushed in life. All I was just doing is enjoying my life and making choices, good and bad choices, but above all, and serving God is.
It is. It's the best.
That's pretty much it. That's the lessons. What about you?
Wow, that's a lot of lessons. Going back, I think as you grow older, you get more matured, you get more wise. So some of the things we're sharing here is just, it's just to, I believe it's just to help one or two persons out there. Is the fact that your singleness is if I could have, if I knew what I knew now, probably I would have used that time to really, really prepare more.
Okay, you are prepared.
I'll prepare more.
Yeah, over prepared that means them.
Because sometimes sometimes you reevaluate, and that's one thing too. As you grow in life, self-evaluation is very critical. You just sit down and ask yourself, oh, did I do well here? Why did I do this? I should have done better here. I feel I could do better here. All those things are things you develop in your single life. So develop capacity. That's what I mean. Develop capacity. So I wish I could develop more capacity, but what I couldn't do then, God has will keep giving me opportunities to build going forward. But please build your capacity as a single person. serve God, like we said, as a single person.
Mm-hmm.
And also, it's not every relationship that you need to enter into before you find the person that God has proposed for you. I know in the bid to find love, a lot of us are just falling into this, falling into that trap, falling into that. And another thing that came to my mind, I don't know who needs to hear this, is have godly standards. And don't lower your standards for anything that is not in line with the will of God. You know, have godly standards. Premarital sex is a no-no. Fornication is a no-no. Have a godly standard. I'm a child of God. I love God, and I want to obey God. So obey God in the way you live your life, also in the way you live your singleness, and you'll see how well God will help you. So
Amen.
grow, build, be the best of what you are, be the best of what God wants you to be. And we're wishing you all the best in your singleness. To those who are currently single, we're wishing you all the best in your singleness. To those who are engaged, we hope that you still have time to build. To those who are married, congratulations. We're trusting that you have a great marriage ahead. And to those who are married now but didn't have enough time to build during their singleness, we hope that you have the opportunity to at least fix one or two things, even though it becomes harder when you're married. And that's why we're encouraging all the single ones out there. And you know, the interesting part is this, is the fact that some of the things that we got to learn now, do you know that along the line, some people told us the same thing? Maybe we didn't see the light then. That's why we're advising you. Some of the things we're telling you now that you're forming, I can't hear you. You are the one, what you are saying. Please listen and live by it. And you have a great life. Nothing like a great life.
Like a great life. So we're just encouraging you, first of all, that first, singleness is not a punishment.
No.
It is a preparation.
Yeah.
And if God has you single right now, He has a reason.
That's a purpose.
God always has a reason for everything.
True.
And His timing is always perfect.
Yeah, perfect.
So instead of rushing into the next relationship or the next thing, trust that God is working with Him behind the scenes. True. And trust that God has your back.
Yep.
You know, God got your back. And when the time is right, the right person will come.
Absolutely.
And you'll be ready also.
And you will know, yeah.
And you would know also.
You will know, yeah.
And another thing I would like to admonish us is that, so instead of waiting for life to start, let us start by living fully in God's plan for your life, for us today. So if you start living in God's plan, then that means that you're in alignment with His will.
True.
And when you're living God's purpose is fit and good for us.
Yeah.
So I just want to say, that's pretty much about singleness. So if the video encouraged you today, please kindly share with somebody, a friend, family member,
or your group of friends,
that
your family
that you think would need it.
Oh yeah.
And another thing is, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification for more content.
Absolutely.
And we just want to say thank you so much.
Gracias.
And this brings the end to
episode.
The episode for today on singleness. Thank you so much. Thank you, and do have a wonderful, blessed week. Because Sunday is the start of the week. And to see you again in the next episode. Bye. Good night.
Bye.